Pickaxe.
This episode is brought to you by FX's The Beauty Official Podcast. Join host Evan Ross Katz on the official podcast for FX's hottest new series, The Beauty, taking you behind the scenes with its amazing stars as they discuss the show's most jaw-dropping moments. Featuring Evan Peters, Anthony Ramos, Jeremy Pope, Ashton Kutcher, Rebecca Hall, Bella Hadid, Megan Trainor, Isabella Rossellini, Jessica Alexander, and Ari Grainer. Search FX's The Beauty wherever you listen to podcasts.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Hey y'all, it's time for Rolling Dice and Taking Names. In this episode, the guys review Cthulhu Dark Providence, the Gilded Realms, Fantasy Realms Greek Legends, and Campy Creatures. Now here's two Campy Creatures, Marty and Tony.
Hello and welcome to Rolling Dice and Taking Names. This is episode 369. Yesterday, when I was young, my name is Marty.
I'm Tony.
Tony, you were going in the Wayback Machine here. This is Roy Clark, and I had to go pull this song up. I vaguely remember it only because, so my dad used to be a huge country and western fan. And so he would listen to Roy Clark and stuff. And now he's one of those people. It's like, you know, country music isn't what it used to be and it's bad now. And so then he reflects on stuff like this song here. So
exactly. The Grammys are coming up. I mean, let's get back to the good stuff. Let's get a little Glenn Campbell going, a little Roy Clark, Buck Owens. Let's go to Hee Haw Days. Let's have some good music on. Okay, yeah, you still got Reba. Reba's out there. Dolly's out there. But I'm also reflecting on the days when I was young as, you know, time marches on. And I'm like, man, you know, our birthdays are coming up. In one more year, we're going to hit another milestone.
Oh, my Lord. Vanessa was talking about the day. She said, we need to do something special next year. And I'm like, how about no? I don't even think about it.
No. So, yeah. I mean, yesterday when I was young, I was able to do a lot of things. Now it just hurts getting out of bed.
Is that what this show has become? It seems like we talk about this a lot. We never talk about the present. It's always about how old we are and how it used to be.
Well, that's what grumpy old men do, man. You know, that's how it is. So we're sitting on the porch yelling at the kids. Tell them get off our lawn. That kind. Now, I will say the deer in this neighborhood are just freaking brazen. In my neighborhood, I'm in the big old city, and these bad boys are just standing around eating all my grass, eating all that, and they are just pooping everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, would y'all? And then I go out there, old man them, I start yelling at them, and they just lift their heads. Yep. What are you gonna do? You ain't gonna shoot me because you don't like venison. You ain't. I ain't worried about you. I tell you what.
We have a natural area out front, and for a month or two this year, that was their nesting spot at night. And so they were out there all the time. We have like an outdoor camera, and there's, couldn't believe, a buck walked right in front of the camera the other night and looked straight at it. And he was probably 8 to 10 points. I mean, he was a decent sized buck. I'm like, dude, you might not. There are people around here with guns, and they like to hunt people like you. I wouldn't show your face on a camera.
Well, at least they're not rutting and all that other fun stuff and trying to hit your car, because they do that. I'm just saying, but yeah, a lot of things. And I can't. And the time you and Vanessa stop by on your way to the airport, and you have the little red fox run across. What's going on here? Nature? We'll have to move to the inner city or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you thought you got away from nature, and nature's coming to you.
That's right. They're being pushed everywhere, moving into the neighborhood. I like that. So, now I will say this, and I didn't realize this until we were talking about it at gang night, that Lord of the Rings 25th anniversary was going on. Had no clue until you and Bert were talking about it in your special popcorn bin. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And it was shown on the theaters, and I know you went. And was it as magical as it was yesterday when I was young? I saw this 25 years ago in the theater.
It's still an amazing movie on the big screen. 25 years later, there are some scenes you watch, some special effects, and you go, oh, okay, the special effects have gotten better. But overall, everything else is absolutely amazing. And I was thrilled to see it on the big screen, especially the extended edition, which I have not seen on the big screen. And so we saw Two Towers, and as soon as it was over, we all looked at each other. It's like, we have to go see Return of the King now, so we're going to go watch it tomorrow night.
Okay.
And see it. Just like, now, I feel like we just go ahead and finish. I said, but the only problem is we can't leave until my eyes aren't red from the one scene that gets me every time.
It gets me too.
And you're not an emotional person, but it's like, if there's any person that watches Return of the King and doesn't get a little misty eye when he says, you bow before no one, you have no heart.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what amazed me, and we were talking about this in our texting, was that like my son-in-law, he came into town. They came up for my daughter's baby shower, and I made mention of this, and before I know it, he had bought himself a ticket to go see Fellowship. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks for the invite. And he's like, I know you're going to be busy getting ready for the party tomorrow, and I'm not even supposed to be here. I go, fair. And so he headed out, and I didn't even think about it. He would have been 3 years old when this came out.
So he never had a chance to see it on the big screen.
Well, your boys, Adam and Rebecca, were, 5.
Oh, yeah. Brett
wasn't even here.
Brett, yeah.
Third.
So what did he think? Brett loved it, seeing it on the big screen. So what did he think?
He needed to decompress, and he really enjoyed seeing it on the big screen. We decided not to do Saturday night, try to go to the theaters. Instead, during the party, he and I sat upstairs and watched the Two Towers and Return of the King on the TV.
Wow.
Did a little, okay, he fell asleep. But I will say the Two Towers, yeah, the battle's great, but there is some slow ass scenes in that. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's move on. Come on, let's go. I don't need all this touchy feely stuff with Eowyn and Aragorn. I don't need it. Let's go.
It's funny reading the books. I remember it's like, I hope those two get together, but they didn't.
And now let me ask you this:
Yeah.
while you were sitting there, I know you were doing this because I was doing it. That's on the card. That's on the card.
100%. Quick backstory.
Lord of the Rings, TCG, from Decipher.
That's what got us into hobby games. And so all the card art were stills from the movies. So it was funny. It was like when they go to bury Theoden's son, you put him in the grave and had the white flower. I was going, what's the name? What's the name of that card? And then he said it, Symbolburn or whatever. There was a card with that flower card that's on it. And Limbus bread is the healing thing. So, even the Easterlings or the wild men, there were certain shots of them. It's like, that's that card.
And there was a couple of the ring shots. The ring that you always had to have in your deck, and the ring gave you special powers for Frodo or whoever could be Sam could be a ring bearer. And I was just like, okay, like there was one where they're showing where Faramir sees the ring and takes the sword, and you see the reflection of the ring on the sword, which is amazing cinematography. And I'm like, I remember that card. I know exactly that card.
And like, the Oliphant card?
The Oliphant card, which was when that series started dying. And of course I can't think of the ghost that, that's one of my other favorite scenes when Aragorn jumps off the boat.
So, and that's what's so great. The extended version of Return of the King does a lot more of the stuff that's inside the mountain that sets up that entire scene. Because in the original cut, it's kind of like they're coming off the boat and then the spirits come after, and you have to kind of fill in some of the gaps yourself.
Yeah. I mean, they go in there and they talk about, was that, I can't remember. We didn't make it all the way through Fellowship. I mean, Return of the King, before we before the party was over and we went downstairs. But we did make it to the part where Faramir had just returned from giving up the city and was being, I guess, torn down by his father, the steward of Gondor.
Yep.
And we knew what was coming after that. Oh, he was going to go back out.
Oh, he did. And then he came back. His dad thought it was dead.
Yeah.
And basically is going to burn him alive. It's like, he's not dead.
Not dead yet? I'm not dead yet.
Oh,
you're mostly dead. Okay. So, there you go.
I remember cards. It's like, remember when they're in Two Towers, when they're in the swamp, and there's faces in the bottom. There was, where there were some cards where it had the faces of the people under the water sort of deal. And there was the picture of the one where Frodo falls in and he sees the ghost reaching after him. There was a card of that shot.
See, I knew it. I knew you were sitting there thinking, oh, I knew that. Don't remember what they all do, but God, that was a great game. Until they ruined it.
It is a shame that when it finally came back and got good again, we had already gotten out. One of the final sets redeemed itself. And
it did. Wow.
And it's one of the more expensive sets now because it was the one that was most wanted. It was called Hunters or something. I can't remember what it was called. But one of the final sets kind of fixed a lot of the issues that they had. And actually kind of got hot again.
Okay. I know we played it online and then that quickly dissolved and done with. So, all right. Well, that's the reason why we're here. So you can thank 25 years ago, Lord of the Rings for rolling dice and taking names. You blame them.
That's right. Yeah, blame Decipher. Speaking of getting older, all right, so here's another thing. On X, a designer, Sandy Peterson, who does a lot of Call of Cthulhu stuff and is one of the original designers of Quake. I used to be with company id. He did a lot of video games. He's like 70 years old. And he said, does anybody still have recurring college dreams where it's like, there's a class that you forget to go to or something like that? And I said, heck yes. I said, I'm just a little bit younger than you, but I said, I still have the recurring dream of signing up for a class, forgetting I had signed up for a class. It's time for final exams, and I know nothing. That one tweet got like 700 likes, 24,000 views, and tons of comments saying, I have the exact same dream. So is there any recurring dream you have from college like that?
I hate to keep this segment short, but no.
Really? Okay.
I know you dream, but I don't remember any of my dreams now when I wake up. It's very strange. Everybody has that, but I know you dream, but when I wake up, I have no recollection of what I was dreaming about. No.
Right.
So no, sorry, I can't help you out here. So you're welcome to continue with this discussion, and I'll just go, yep, exactly. No.
So let me ask anybody out there, do y'all have a recurring dream from college of missing classes or forgetting to drop a class or something, just something that wakes you up at night sweating? It's like, oh, that's right. That's not real. So come over to our Discord channel and let us know. And also we want to kind of give you an update. We had mentioned last episode that we were joining a new network, and the network is called Pickaxe, PICKAXE.UK. And this is a network of a lot of gaming shows, RPG, video games, and they reached out to us and they said, hey, we think your content would fit in with what we do and a lot of other shows in our network. Our goal is to provide listeners possibly useful ads that might be good for them for gaming, etc., like that. And there are other people in this network that you may know. For example, with the Murph brothers and Paula Deming is in there, Matthew Jude. So that's kind of their ongoing. It was more of a comedic thing. They're in there, and also a show called Very Wrong About Games, which was a big show. I think they won the BGG podcast award one year or something like that. So there are shows that you may have heard before that are also in this network. But I'm bringing this up to say, hey, if you hear an ad that you don't feel is appropriate, doesn't fit or is right, let us know, because we can contact them and say, hey, we don't want any ads relating with these companies or something like that. We actually went through and tried to remove a lot of stuff that might be sensitive or out of place or not family friendly, but we may have missed something. So just let us know and just give us some feedback on what you're hearing and stuff like that. And there, you guys may be going, well, why are you doing this? And it's just ways to generate a little bit of income to support the show. We do have our support through buymeamoonpie.com, and we appreciate everybody that's participating with that. But we know money's tough so often a lot of people can't do it. So this is just kind of an automatic way to generate funds. Tony, I don't know if you saw this. There's somebody that's approached us and may consider it in the future of somebody's trying to set up something to where you can subscribe to a show and get a version of the show with no ads whatsoever.
Really?
Or somebody else has reached out and has said, hey, if you just want to have for $5 a month, you can offer this as a service where nobody hears any ads. So maybe that's something we'll pursue down the road if people might see value in that. So in just supporting the show of $5, at least your $5 a month will go towards something. You get a version of the show that has all the ads stripped out.
Okay, that'd be interesting. Be kind of wild how you do that, but that'd be cool. Yeah,
it would put a little bit of more work on my side to remove ads. I'd have to have 2 versions of the show, and also it's one of those things too. If we get more and more support through buymeamoonpie.com, what that allows me to do is start dropping the number of ads that are in the show. So instead of having 2 up front and 1 in the middle, we could just go down to 1 up front, 1 in the middle. And the more supported, we can just keep backing them right out. So trying to find that balance point to pay for the cost of services and equipment and everything like that. Just want to break even. That's all.
I got you. I understand that. Surprised, that'd work out good. I mean, man, no commercials. But then again, it's probably those commercials are more entertaining than we are.
Speaking of a commercial, we got one right now. Tony, over at shopportalgames.com, they got a pre-order up. Ignacy was nice enough to send us an early copy of this game. And actually, what I'm getting ready to show you is actually yours. This is yours, my friend. This is the 20th anniversary of Neuroshima Hex. Look at this box right here. It's still sealed. This has the 4 original factions in there. Ignacy's like, hey, you know what? Here's a new version of the base game. Looks great. I'm going to be getting a copy too, but this one is yours to put into your collection. Neuroshima Hex, I still say to this day, is one of my favorite all-time 2-player tactical games.
I'm with you. I love Neuroshima Hex. I can't wait to show it or teach the son-in-law because he enjoys playing these games. He enjoys these fast-paced strategic games that chess is always great, but this is, different factions, asymmetric play. But then the randomness of the draw is always great. And I hate that every time I play this game, I cannot remember, okay, when I draw at the start, what do I have to do? When do I have to? Oh my gosh, let me go refresh myself on this because the AI or the computer does it for me on the app anyway. I don't remember.
And I tell you, what's interesting, you talk about your son-in-law playing, my 2 younger sons really enjoy this game. They love playing Neuroshima Hex, so they're big fans of it. There's a new faction that's coming out too. So if you want to go find out more and order the 20th anniversary of Neuroshima Hex, you can do so over at shopportalgames.com. All right, we got to play a new version of a game that we played many years ago, and maybe many of you had too. You remember the game from Martin Wallace, A Study in Emerald? Well, a new version of that game came out from CMON, from Martin Wallace and also Travis Chance, called Cthulhu Dark Providence. You know me, Tony, I love the whole Arkham kind of theme stuff, so I was very much interested in this. And the original game was a Sherlock Holmes type story and everything. Now it's moved to United States, it's moved more based in the Arkham world sort of deal. But this is one of those games, and I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I played this many years ago, the version, and playing it again. Reading the rules, it seemed like this is the exact type of deck building game I would love to play. It seems very different, but lots of times the experience you think you're going to get after reading the rules doesn't match the experience you get after playing the game.
Right. I can understand that. I remember playing the study as well, the first version of that, and there was just something about it. And I need to put that negative aside as we were playing this. I just remember it didn't jive with me. There was something I enjoyed deck builders, and I was like, man, there's just something off about when I play the Study in Emerald,
I just remember it's like after it was over, I was like, it was fine, but I remember it was a hot game. There was a friend of ours named Kevin, just absolutely loved that game and played it all the time. And again, due to the theme, the deck building, it's like, I should love this. So when the new version came out, it's like, all right, I'm more seasoned now. So maybe I just didn't get the game. So I was anxious to get it to the table and try again. And this is a style of deck builder. I do appreciate some of the things that it's trying to change, in that you don't have to play every card every turn. You could play just certain cards that you want. What's kind of odd is that there are cards with multiple resources on them and abilities, but you don't get to use all those when you play it. You got to pick the resources. If it has multiple resources to add to a pool, 2 different types, you don't get to add those types. You got to pick one that you're adding to the pool or take that action. So that's one thing that kind of broke us right off the bat, because the question kept coming up. Well, I'm adding 2 of this and 2 of this playing this card. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You got to pick one of those to add to a pool of resource, that type of resource, then take an action using that resource.
And I think that's one of the things that you have to keep straight. And maybe, after we finished playing it and I started thinking about it, I was like, maybe this is what it was about this game that I wasn't grasping when we first played it. Because we had always played it where it was just lay the cards on the table, right?
Right.
And get what we want from a normal deck builder. And here, that wasn't the case. So, when we go into this game, I'm starting to think, okay, what is it that I want in a deck builder to help me evaluate, is this something I'm going to enjoy playing? I like that idea though, Marty. I like that you can't use everything on the card. You have to be selective. Okay, what's the other thing? Culling. All right, what's another thing? Being able to cycle through my cards, Where's the tension? Am I going to be just a solo player? Did we have a lot of interaction with one another in this game? The game offers the capability, and we'll talk about how to do it, but you can assassinate people if you get followers. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a lot of interaction. Something we're not used to in deck builders, right? Everything's pretty solo in a deck builder. Even Clank, which offers, the cubes and the challenge. It's not like you're going out trying to assassinate the other dungeon dwellers.
I also appreciate, too, that typical in deck building games, there's a market of cards out there that on your turn you can spend resources to buy. Here, they kind of twisted a little bit, and instead the board itself is kind of a map of interconnected cities on this map. And these cities are going to have stacks of cards on them, and those are the types of cards that you can get to add to your deck. One of the actions you can do is you can spend cards using resources, these influence cubes. However many number of influence cubes you collect by playing those cards, you could put those cubes out onto the cards in hopes of trying to earn them and add them to your deck. Cool. Also think it's cool, too, that card has to make it all the way back around to you. And at the very beginning of the turn, one of the 2 actions you can take, there's only 2 actions you get, you can use the first one to claim a card. If you have more influence than everybody else, congrats. You get to add that card to your discard pile. Those influence cubes that you spent now go to a spent area of the board, and everybody just gets their cubes back. I like how that worked. I thought that was kind of cool. Instead of just on your turn buying something from the market, everybody has a chance to potentially buy that card just by adding more influence cubes than what you did.
So this is the thing where I kept screwing up. I kept trying to add influence when I moved to a city, right? You could add influence anywhere. And I think that was where I kept screwing up. Oh no, I can't add influence. I can't compete with you on getting that influence because I'm not in the city. And I think all of us kept screwing that up in some, you probably didn't, but I was sitting there going, do I have to be there? It's like those Mythos cards that were out there that are other special cards that you can get. I forgot, what do I have to do to collect those? But you're right. The market's right there. You don't have to do that in any other market game. So why should it be different here? You just have to remind yourself that you're putting cubes on these to fight for those cards.
It was kind of confusing because there are some actions you do have to be in the city for. One of the things you can do is try to take over a city or control a city, and which is done the exact same way, is having influence cubes on a city space. When it gets back to you, you can claim that city asset card, which is a special card that sits outside, which typically gives you a lot of access to different types of resources. It's cool that this can transfer between players. Somebody else can take that city from you, and they'll take that card out of your deck, and you have to give it to them. Sort of deal. That's kind of interesting, of stealing other people's cards out of their deck.
And those are victory points.
Yes.
And we'll talk about game in, but those are victory points. So that's that push and pull mechanism that's going on here. I don't want you to have that city that's going to give you more victory points, which will help you win the game. One of the things about these influence cubes is when you're buying a card or taking control, it's not like you're getting them back.
Right.
All right. They are not going back into your deck to be able to spin.
If you win the card.
If you win the card.
You lose them. Everybody else, somebody else contributing, they do get the cards back. Yep.
Yeah. So one of the other actions you can take is you may play any number of assets cards from your hand with the cubes and retrieve that influence from city spaces, mythos cards, primary assets, and limbo, which is where you put them when you win a card. And you pull those back into your general supply. Okay. But you cannot get those from the general supply. It's not like gaining another worker. You have a general supply that's sitting over there that you can get those later by using an action as well.
So another resource that's on the card you just mentioned is gold. Gold can be used to buy those influence cubes from the general supply. So play a number of asset cards, add the number of gold. For every 2 gold, you add a new cube to your supply. We're constantly doing that because you start with a limited number of influence cubes, and those start being used a lot. Gold can also be used to travel. There is a cost to move your player piece between cities. Everybody is an investigator, gets an investigator deck at the beginning with a certain character on it, and you can move your standee from city to city just by paying the gold cost to move between those cities.
Now there is something that we didn't talk about that I don't remember us saying, and that's about everybody has some type of special character on them.
Hidden roll.
You got hidden rolls. Oh my gosh, no, not the dreaded hidden rolls. And if I remember correctly, there were 3 types of rolls, Marty. Am I thinking about this incorrectly?
No. Investigators, ritualist, and then a combination of the 2 called dissidents. And each of these have a goal because on the track, there are 2 tracks that each type of person is trying to move a token up that track. There's an investigation track and a ritual track. The rituals are trying to move a token up the ritual track. The investigators are trying to move the investigation track. So another resource on these asset cards are arrows reflecting the color of those tracks moving up or down. So you can play those cards and move those tokens up and down on that track. And Tony, the higher it goes, if you're that particular type of person, you're going to end up with more victory points at the end of the game. But that could also be a trigger to end the game too. One of those tracks maxes out.
And before anybody claims, Marty speaks to all Arkham. In this game, it's a cultist versus did you call them ritualists?
I did, because I was calling them it's cultists. My bad. Who perform rituals? Sorry, I am totally thinking Guild Wars 1 as I'm playing factions, and there's a ritualist playing in there.
Wow. Okay.
I was just thinking of the ritual track. Yeah, my bad. Investigators and cultists, yes.
I thought maybe that's what they were called in normal Arkham.
No,
they're
other
called Arkham
cultists.
games that you play. They're called cultists? Okay.
This was Guild Wars influenced, so.
Okay. All right. Now, certain cards, and we've already mentioned this, one, you can assassinate an agent, another player's agent.
Because over the course of the game, sometimes these asset cards you get is actually control of a new standee that can be put on the board to move around and manipulate. And that can help you with trying to seal gates, to open gate. We haven't talked about that yet. But yeah, Tony, so tell us about, there's another resource on these asset cards, fists.
Fists. The value of fist power. What you're doing is you're comparing, agents controlled by the player performing the action that are in the city. So if you have a bunch of agents in there, they will contribute. Then the remaining must come from the cards that you're playing. So like we talked about, the influence, or some of the cards have actual fist in it. And then you look at the number of additional cards to match the total city control value. The card is used to contribute. If a player does not have enough, the action cannot be performed. So you can't you can't try to discard cards, because that's one thing you got to remember about this game. You just don't at the end of your turn discard your cards and get a whole set of new ones. That was different. That was very different. But I'm sorry, I deviate. So to assassinate someone, compare your fist power to the city value, and then you may assassinate someone. And when you do, you may place that person onto your board, I called it the graveyard, and those will help you get victory points at the end of the game.
If you're a cultist.
Okay, I was. So yeah.
Cultists try to kill people. Well, I wasn't.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah. So cultists want to kill agents. You cannot take out a main agent unless there's no other agents that main agent controls, which is another way to also trigger the end of the game.
And you have to wait for people to get enough victory points in order to do that. That was one thing that irritated me. I could never get an agent till near the end of the game. Okay? I just wasn't in spot. But then again, that was because I was hampering myself because I felt I had to move to that city. And I'm like, oh, sucks. But I'm like, all I had to do was put some cubes on that card, you know? Yeah, fight for y'all. We didn't do that very well. We needed to fight more with one another as far as getting power and control of the card.
It is interesting. There are some games we play that have player interaction that we just do it. But some games where it feels like it's more of an option, we don't do that. Our game group doesn't do that a lot. It's like, okay, there's an option I could take out in your investigator, but it seems like it makes more sense to me do this instead. Whereas there are games we could play like area control games where it's just part of the game. Hey, you and I were fighting because I want control of this, that sort of deal. It's just kind of innate and built in the game. And even though it's an option here, we never felt like doing it a lot. Now, the fist, there's one other thing the fist can do is every city has a gate on it. You can either try to seal that gate or protect the gate. And it depends on which side you're on. If you are on the cultist side, you want to try to protect the gate. If you're the investigator, you want that gate to be sealed. And so that's what the fists are going to do. Every city also has a gate area that has a value beside of it. And if you dedicate enough fists to match that gate value, you can either protect it or seal it. And once it's done, that's good, which is also good because that helps generate points at the end too. Mm-hmm. Tony, here's the thing is, we all figured out who was what pretty quickly by the actions they were taking.
Yes, we were.
That dissident, which is kind of a mixture between the two, I think is the one that's supposed to throw the wrench in the works to make you think, well, wait a minute, how is that person kind of reacting? I can't really tell what they are. But it seems like if you weren't that, your investigators were trying to push that token up the investigator track and trying to seal the gates. And the cultists were trying to do the opposite of that. So right. At the end, everybody knew what everybody was without revealing it.
Right. Absolutely. And I think one of the things that was frustrating at that was where it was like, okay, if I'm not in the lead and the other cultist is pushing it up and he's got more victory points, how do I restrict him from winning? Because it just seemed kind of interesting that they were trying to pit us against one another. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the advantage was, to be honest with you. And one thing we didn't even mention, there's even a sanity check. Like when you close a gate, you have to perform a sanity check. And if, you can go mad in this game and the game ends right then.
Yeah, if you are an investigator. And a sanity check is just literally sticking your hand and pulling a token out of the bag. And depending on what color it is, it's either you're considered sane or insane. If you get 3 insane tokens, you're immediately driven to insanity. If you happen to be an investigator, then boom, that triggers the end of the game too. Cultists can't go insane. So that was another thing. If somebody drew 3 insanity things and it's like, and they didn't go insane and didn't trigger the end of the game, well, it's like, well, I know you're not an investigator. But it is another part of the test that you do have to do this thing called a sanity test. And then there's yet one other resource icon, Tony, and that's the lock.
Before you go there,
I
want to talk some about sanity. Sanity is that when you gather cards or you close a gate, some of the cards may make you do a sanity check, but if you close a gate and there's a sanity and you don't pass, you still close the gate, but you lose your follower, you lose your agent.
Yeah.
So that's a risk you take, and that's closing gates is another way, or protecting a gate is another way to get victory points. Mm-hmm. So that's a risk. Now you've culled the herd, right? So it's one of those things where you're like, okay, do I really want to go close this gate with the chance of, going into losing my follower and then someone come and assassinate me?
Right.
But I guess that's where we did not use that, ending the game sooner than we could have by killing off people.
And the final thing is, just mentioned, there is one last resource. It's called a lock. And if you play an asset card that has a lock icon on it, you can lock down a city or a card that now it can't be claimed unless that lock is removed. So the lock icon actually can place a lock or remove a lock. a lot of us started doing that as the game went on. It's like, I don't want you to get that card. I'm going to lock that card down, or I'm going to lock that city down. So you can't steal the city card from me in case I haven't. It looks like you're trying to steal it. So that's the last thing you do. So Tony, that is a lot of different resources to track and build a deck around for this game, to where it feels like most of your cards are doing nothing but generating resources to take actions, which is fine, but it's just so different than so many deck building games. And I think a lot of people liked it. I don't know that I really cared for it too much.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. One thing I didn't like was the fact that I didn't see a good way to call cards from my hand other than blowing them up at gates.
Right.
Getting rid of followers or assassinate people.
Right. And so those starting cards are mainly just cards that give you assets. But as you get other cards into your hand, a lot of those have actions on them. One of the final things you can do is you can play an asset card and just take the action that's on it and not use the resource icons at all. But there's some really powerful actions, and you want to get through your deck and get to those cards multiple times. I want to get a way to get rid of those starter cards, and there's no way. So I kept drawing these cards that have very few resource icons on them, and you can only have 5 cards in your hand. Now, there are some cards out there that, hey, play this card to draw 2 extra cards. There are those cards in the market that you can get, which allows you to increase your hand for that one turn to hopefully draw what you want. But I really wish there was more ways to call cards, as you mentioned. And in many games, deck building games especially, we feel that if I cannot control what cards are in my deck through purchasing or culling, I'm not as big a fan of it.
Right. Also in this game, that you can always reveal who you are. If the main agent, a player's main agent cannot be assassinated if their alignment was already revealed. Okay. If their cultist alignment, so people can't go out. And I'm just like, okay, there's all these little nuances to this game. Like, can I do this? No, you need to validate from that standpoint.
Well, the reason why you wouldn't just automatically do it is because if you remain unrevealed at the end of the game, you get victory points. You get 3 victory points if you were not revealed. So that's why people just aren't automatically doing it, because I mean, when you have a game, a 4-player game that ends once 26 victory points are scored, you realize 3 victory points are a lot.
Yeah. So, Study in Emerald, rethemed. I don't remember enough about Study of Emerald other than it wasn't a hit with me here. I will say we haven't played a lot of deck builders. It doesn't seem like it, but things just aren't standing out for, that deck builder grabbed me. I know we've played them. It's just one of those things.
We've played a ton of deck builders.
Did we?
My gosh, dude. Clank. Tyrants of the Underdark.
I'm talking about just in this previous year.
Oh, I thought you meant in history. No. Okay. No, recently. No. Well, because deck builders kind of went away. It was the hot craze, and there hasn't been a lot of them recently.
I will say, artwork is gorgeous on this.
Amazing.
Yeah. The board, easy to understand, following. And I think after you've taught it once, that if people have memory, which, us old guys don't have that much, it would be easy to bring them back to it and understand, as long as they can remember that you can't count up all the resources. So I think that has it going for it.
I will say, if you're a fan of a Study in Emerald, that's a hard game to get. It's out of print, whatever. And it's like, crap, I wish I could have that again. Here you go. This is it. Go buy this. You'll really, really enjoy it. Fans of A Study in Emerald are really going to like this because they can get their hands on it now. Again, it looks great. If you're a fan of the first, you're probably going to like this one too. So that is Cthulhu Dark Providence from CMON Games.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
Tony, at Gen Con, we got a game from Keymaster Games from one of our favorite people, Sarah Erickson, who knows a lot about bananas. You ought to go back and listen to go search for Sarah on our website and go listen to the episode where we had her on talking about bananas. It was really good. We still talked to her about that today. A game called Campy Creatures from Maddox Schuler. We got to the table. Any card game where everybody has the same deck of cards, and as you play a card, you put it to the side and you can see what everybody's played. I like these type of games where everybody plays a card. It's like, well, I know you've already used that card. That card has this certain special ability, which means I hadn't got to worry about that anymore. I kind of like those style of games. And that's what this is, because everybody is going to start out with 9 cards, the same 9 cards in their hand that are monsters. And these monsters have values from 0 to 8. And these monsters also have special abilities on them. Everybody's going to take a card, simultaneously put it down. And whoever has the highest value is going to be able to get a camper from the market in the middle of the table. And Tony, this is basically a set collection game. You're trying to collect certain types of campers and icons together to generate victory points. There's a little scoring. It says, hey, if you get for every of this you get this many victory points. There are some that are worth negative points, which is why you may be, oh, there's a camper out there I want to bid high this time on this to make sure I don't get it. There's also whoever wins is going to get a scene card, which is also another way to potentially create victory points and another victory route for you. It may say, hey, for every set of the icons you have, you get bonus victory points, which will drive you to the types of sets you're collecting. And it's also very fast games, playing over 4 rounds, and then the game's over and you count up victory points. So what did you think of this really quick, easy to get into game?
Well, was it 4 rounds or 4 scenes, 3 rounds?
4 scenes, 3 rounds. Yes. Sorry. Yep.
Okay. Because if we had played 4 and 4, I may have done better.
Yeah. You're right.
So as with this game is fun. I enjoyed the trying to read y'all, trying to figure out. I did not do a good job of reading you. You would always play a card that would beat me. I sucked tremendously. I could never capture a scene, which is what drives that in-game scoring. If you don't have any scenes, then you're not going to do well in this game. I'm a proven fact of that. But that's where you have to come in and say, okay, how am I going to play out these monsters? Is this a scene that I really want, or do I want one later and I need to hold off my big bad at the end? Right. And there's various tokens, the energy tokens that help you like take one monster and spin it up a little bit. Then there's this, and the one that would drive me crazy was cancel your monster's capability, your players to your left monster capability. I think this game would play better with more people. We played with 3 both times, and it was just, I just don't think it was as good with a lower count. I think it's a lot fun with more interaction, more chaos going on the table. And you definitely have to keep track of who's played what. That whereas where my wife would not enjoy this game, because she does not like where you have to remember who's done what, who's played what cards.
Yeah. And after 4 turns or playing 4 cards and all the scenes have been claimed, you get all the cards back that you've played. So at the beginning of every round, you go back to a full hand of cards. But yeah, you very much got to track what other people have played. And you haven't got to remember it because everything is discarded face up, so you can see what has been played too. And like you said, the different abilities on the different creatures, maybe you want to play it for the value, maybe you want to play it for the ability. And it's just, again, looking at the potential mortals that you're going to be able to claim and how they score. And that's going to go with the scenes that you get. So everybody may be claiming different mortals for different reasons based upon scenes they claimed in previous turns also.
Right. Yeah. And and sometimes you may have to do a little hate drafting, like Marty's collecting all the sneakers, which was one of our scoring mechanisms. If I don't stop him, he's going to get a ton of points. So I better start taking those mortals, or better yet, play the one where I can give somebody a negative point mortal. Seems like I was the one always taking those. I'm not carrying a grudge or anything about this. And I do like the way to break a tie, the clashometer.
Yes.
Where how to stack up the various players who's ever on top in the clashometer is going to break the tie, but there are cards that will force you to the bottom or top of the clashometer. So I like that's easy to track and say, okay, if we tie here, I'm going to win that. So I really need to make sure I'm at the top.
It is a quick 20-minute game at the most. It's small box games. And they've had other games in this series too. So Campy Creatures by Keymaster Games. If you want a little filler game, this is it. Again, I just like the style of games where everybody has a set of cards, and it's just whoever plays those cards the best, or maybe trying to read the table and try to figure out what they're going to do. So that's Campy Creatures from Keymaster Games.
5-minute initiative is complete.
All right, we got a game to the table from a publisher. I don't think we've ever had the opportunity to get one of their games on the table, and that is called Sand Time. And this is the Gilded Realms. Gilded as in gilding the lily, making it pretty. Don't gild the lily, don't gild the rose. When you're doing way too much to make something and then you ruin it. Well, we're going to talk about the game, but this game was designed by Ivan and Dale Hrusky.
Hrusky?
Hrusky? Michael Kara-Georges, or I don't know if the G is a G or Kara-Hores, but in this game, you have a realm and you're trying to gild it.
It's wow, dude. So number one, when I first saw this game, actually in a Facebook ad, I thought this game looks really cool. It's a kingdom builder. Basically, everybody's trying to build their own realm, their own kingdom. When I remember the name, Tony, I wanted to find out more about it. I was going GUILD. ED.
As in the guild.
As a guild. Because it's like, okay, it's a guild, right? Like a mastery guild, an artisan guild. It is not. It is GILDED. But anyway, I thought, ooh, Kingdom Builder, that's cool. All of us tend to like Civ games, city builder games. This has a tech tree. So I thought, we got to try this out. This game is broken down into easy to follow phases, Tony, which I think is really nice. Everybody starts with these 5 province cards that are extremely basic. You're trying to get other types of cards into play to upgrade each of those provinces. As you upgrade those provinces, they provide you more income. They provide you more victory points. You can build an army to go out and potentially attack others, steal their resources, steal some of their cards. Or the game is also working against you too, because there could be invasions coming from outside of the realms that all of you have to work together to protect, and you could build an army to go out and take care of those invasions and everything. So there's a lot of things in this game that sounded really cool when I was looking over it and reading about it.
Now, this game, when you sent it over to us and I was looking at it, first thing that stood out to me, 90 minutes for a basic 9-round game. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that, not including the teach. And then there's the epic, which was long, 180 minutes. But it was only a few more rounds. But as with all types of games like this, you got a lot of, I don't want to say combo stuff, but a lot of combo stuff happening, where you can get a lot of extra resources and you'll be able to do this. Now, I will say one of the neat things for me is that of the various cards that you're putting in play for your realm, as you are upgrading them, their images are changing and it's getting a little bit prettier. It's kind of cute. I appreciate that detail.
The 5 province cards you start out with actually creates like a little, maybe diorama is not the right word, but a panoramic scene. What's that?
Panoramic.
Thank you, Tony. A panoramic scene. And so you start at level 0 and you upgrade from there. But yeah, it does. The production is top notch. The production in this game is absolutely amazing. They did an amazing job. The board looks great. The pieces look great and everything. So when it comes to the art and development and everything is nice.
In this game, and we'll go a little bit over the rules, but I really enjoy games that give me a process to follow. I love my flow charts. I love the process. You will do this, this, this. It's not hard to follow. When you teach a game, here's your process. And on these boards, here's the process described to you. And by the way, when you're doing this, these processes will give you the opportunity to do other things that you need to be aware of, such as upgrading your realm. So one of the first things you're going to do, bar the first round where you get to draft cards, you are going to draw and build from your Endeavor deck. These are cards that will give you basic icons that will allow you to upgrade your realm. Or they may give you swords guys or army guys to come in and help protect your realm. Or the cards may also give you special actions. Now, one card does not mean it does one thing. One card may have 2 sides. It does have 2 sides to it. So you've got to decide, oh my gosh, when I draw and build, and I'm allowed to put out 2 cards to build my realm, which side do I want? Do I want the army guy? Or do I want the wheat card that will give me the wheat icon that will help me upgrade? I've got to make a decision. And when I make that decision, I place it onto the side of my board based on where it belongs in the building queue. And there's a number on there that says what the queue is. Because in a later step process, you are going to slide these cards down. You get to do 2 of these, but Marty, can you just do 2?
Oh, no. If you want to, you can take extra builds, but it's going to cost you because everybody has population tokens, and you can exhaust one population and pay 2 materials, which is a type of resources you can collect to do additional builds. But when you exhaust a population, you're going to find out that's not necessarily a good thing. You don't want to keep those guys exhausted. But if there's just other cards you really want to get in your queue, you can do so. And there's also, Tony, if there's that one icon that you just really, really want, there's also this deck of cards off to the side that are wild cards. And you can spend a gem, which is another type of resource, to get one of those wild cards to put into your queue. That can be anything that you want it to be. And once you're done building, all your cards in the queue are going to go down one slot. But whatever cards were in slot 1 are going to go beneath your realm cards. And now, Tony, these cards are the things that can be spent to upgrade your province cards that are sitting right above the places where you put your endeavor cards. And each province card is looking for a type of resource. Some are wheat, some is a castle. One is a building or a city. And it will say, okay, I need 3 of this type of icon. And you could take those endeavor cards that have been built and put them in the discard pile, then take that realm and upgrade it to the next level. And that could be done anytime during the game.
Mm-hmm. So once you achieve that, so you're always looking to how can I advance these? When do I need certain things to hit? Because when we get to the end, you're going to maybe want fortifications. You may want to be able to generate some more resources for the next round. All that comes into play. How do you want to advance that? You got to be at a certain level in order to do that tech tree that comes in later. All this good stuff. Speaking of tech trees, that's called buying knowledge. So we have progressed. Now we are into performing our actions. And one of those is going into the tech tree where we can buy knowledge based on what our realm is sitting at. Like in our township, in order to buy a tech from our township area, and everything's nicely laid out, you've got to be able to buy level 1 or level 2, depending on where you are in your realm. And those will give you advancements, ways to break the rules or possibly get special actions when things happen. All this is part of the tech trees. I know like the one that I had, I was able to use my peasantry to be part of my fortifications. Or I think you had one.
I think that was militia. I remember the name of that was militia because I thought that was aptly named. Basically, your workers or your population could be used to help you fight.
Right. And I think Bert had one called buy goods where he could do a function where he could exchange goods at a cheaper rate where you could always exchange various goods. So that was the buy knowledge capability. Now, we talked about being attacked. On your stronghold, you could have fortify in that area where you could place little brick cubes and that would increase your stronghold. Pretty easy to figure it out. If I got so many for every brick, I get a 2 defense, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah, if you're attacked, if for every brick that you spend, take out of your fortification, you get 2 additional defense, which is good. And as you upgrade the military province, you just automatically get built-in armor at the higher that you upgrade. And each of these province cards provide different things. Like there's an income phase is coming soon, and the agriculture is going to automatically give you wheat. One's going to automatically give you the building materials. One's going to give you gold. So you kind of have to decide which one of these do I want to upgrade. So during an income phase, I can generate this income to do the next step. So all that really I dug. I love starting with nothing and trying to generate a little engine to get the resources I need, and then a little path I go on. Thanks to this huge tech tree, Tony, there were a lot of abilities that you could buy, but you can only hold a max of 10. So you had to kind of decide what path did I want to go with my kingdom.
That's right, because you may go all the way up in agriculture and be able to unlock all of those and forego the township area. But, we talked about the progressing of the cards, and if it'd be kind of boring if all you were doing was progressing one step every time. You can expedite your cards down by paying either food or brick to expedite your people or your buildings. Obviously, food for people and brick for buildings, so that you could either move one card 2 steps or 2 cards 1 step. Keep doing as much as you got materials, and that's a quick way to move your buildings over and back into your realm to be able to use them at a later date. You can also have this opportunity, and I don't really want to talk about the caravan, but you do have the ability to caravan and trade your goods by placing them out there, which will allow you to get more gold and get a special ability, but it also opens you up for attacks. And if I I place my caravan on the next round.
The next year. This is played in a series of years, yes. And the base game is 9 years. Yep.
9 years. They mentioned, in the rules, they call them rounds years. So there you go. Don't get yourself confused. But so I place that caravan out there for the next year. If I make my caravan survives any attacks, then I will be able to roll dice and get silver, which will allow me then later to use that to buy knowledge during that for the following year. So my caravan goes out in 1 year, takes a year for them to actually be profitable, and then the following year, guess what? I now have extra gold. We really didn't use that a lot. It was because, to me, it was so hard to get the resources to put in that caravan.
Yeah, because you need 4 resources to send that caravan out. But thematically, I like it too. It's like creating a trade route. It provides you a lot more money selling through trade than it does through just working within the realm yourself. So once you have gone through all the actions, then any cards that are in your hand must be put into what's called the hinterland slots. You have no cards in your hand that you carry over to the next phase. And your hinterland slots starts out with 3 that you can put in there. These cards can be used in the next round as if they were in your hand. But putting them in those slots means they are now also open to be attacked from other players and stolen from you. And just as a quick thing, one of the tech trees that you can buy is to increase the size of your hinterland slots, which allows you to carry more cards over. And if you don't have enough room, the excess cards you have left over are just discarded. You just don't get to keep them at all.
Now, this is very important for people to realize is that while all this is going on, you're doing it simultaneous.
Yes.
There is no turns. Everybody's doing it all. I can't check and see if Marty's doing it right because I am over there doing my own stuff and he can't call me for cheating because I don't know what's going on. Not that we're doing that. It's just one of those things that if you like to see what other people are doing, this is not going to work for you. And You don't want it to be that way because it would take you not 90 minutes, but it may take you a day and a half.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It won't take that. It'll take a while.
Yeah, and the simultaneous action starts at the very first step of drawing cards and putting them in your queue. At that point, everybody is playing simultaneously, and the last thing that we're going to do simultaneously is we're going to choose a stance, and then after that point, we all then run through the rest of the phases together. Now, Tony, choosing a stance is very important. It's the last thing that you're going to do. You have this plastic piece, and you can choose one of 3 stances. You can choose an attack stance, a defense stance, or a worker stance, and each one of them means something different. The worker stance is the most basic, is that if it's a worker stance, you're going to be able to put it on one of your province cards, and all of your province cards say, hey, if you put a worker here, during the income phase, you get extra stuff from this province. So it generates a few more resources, and you can, whichever province card you put it on will give you a different sort of thing. We'll talk about something in a second, but there is a way that invasions can happen in the event deck. Each year, an event card's flipped over. Attacks can happen. So a defense stance means it bolsters your defense. So if an attack happens, either from an invasion or from another player, or it can be, you know what? Tony or somebody out there put out a caravan or they got some cards in the hinterlands. I kind of really need that card. I'm going to go to an attack stance, which will allow me in the next phase to actually go and try to steal something from somebody else. Now, everybody chooses their stance, puts it face down on the event track in the middle of the table to indicate your turn is over. And Tony, once everybody's placed their stances, then we go to the final phase or the next phase, which is resolutions.
One thing you're doing when you're playing this, we talked about simultaneous and everything's going, this is where you got to look across the board. If I know Marty doesn't have an army of at least 2 people, he's not going to be able to attack. So I need to pay attention to that. If I know that if I'm poor in resources right now, then people may say, all right, he's going to go into the worker stance. This is where you got to do a little thinking. And it's a good way. For some odd reason, it was such a simple way to indicate, hey, I'm done with my turn and all my simultaneous. So I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, okay, I like that. So we reveal our stances, and then we're going to say, okay, every player that had the worker stance is going to go out there and place that worker in one of their realms or in their areas, the township, province. Yeah. And you're going to go out, and that will give them the ability to generate income based on the symbol at the top of their province. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, good, easy peasy. We're going to do, everybody that did that, go get your stuff. All right, you're good to go. Next, players in defense stance will be put on top of their military province, which gives them additional defense. And then all players in attack stance place their stance token above their standing army, and that is a reminder of what they will be doing later. They will be taking campaigns. And these are where, hey, I'm going to go attack Marty, or I'm going to go attack the caravan, and I will decide. If I go attack Marty, I'm going to go for his hinterlands because he has that card that I want. And then if not, then I'll attack his caravan. And then we will resolve the attack. And this is where some dice come into play.
Yep, because each of the army cards has a particular die that they get to roll. There's some that have more hits than others.
And you queue up your army. You send your army out to go do this attack, and then they will go back into your builder's queue. You don't lose them. So that's pretty important. But they're now back in their queue, and they're not defending your homeland. There are some cards that are called a looming threat that you can go out and attack if you have a siege weapon. And that will give you the ability to gain riches from this looming threat, where you'll be able to draw, depending on what you roll, will determine if you're going to get gold or possibly materials. So you're going to be doing that. You roll the dice, and figure out who the winner is. Ties go to the defender. And then if the attacker wins, he's going to be able to gain resources from one or two resources from the caravan. He may take from the hinterlands if that's where he decided. If the defender wins, the defender rolls 2 gray dice, and they will then get gold in place of that. Now, one of the cool things is if the attacker did not win, he's still going to gain 1 gold and get a determination.
I don't see one. Yeah, determination helps you increase your attack strength. It kind of encourages you to attack. And one thing I like too is the defenders. They don't get spent and go back into the queue. They stay exactly right where they are, and then they get to use their dice from right there in order to spend. And hopefully, you're just going to compare successes to each other is basically based on what they roll. But I like that they don't have to spend their guys for defending.
Yeah, they stayed home.
Yep,
they didn't go out. They didn't go travel. They stayed home.
Yeah,
very thematic. But then, after all is said and done, now we got to resolve the year-end event cards. This is where you hold your breath and you wait to see if it's one of 3 things. If it's one where you can gain resources, if you were in a defense or a worker stance, you're going to gain some resources.
Yay!
Nothing bad's going to happen. If it's a looming year, that's going to add to the threat of the land. A looming threat. I'm sorry, not a looming year. A looming threat. That's going to add to the threat of the land, and we'll talk about that, because one of the bad things that's going to happen is that you're going to get a attack, an invasion. Boo.
Invasions. So it's going to depend on the year that it pops up. Again, the later turns it is, the higher the value, because it's based on the turn number or the year number that it is. So if it's the 4th year, it's going to be a 4 strength. And invasions are attacking everybody. And everybody has got to make sure they have defenders in place with shield values, or spending the little materials out of their fortifications too. For every fortification you're adding up your defense, it's got to be higher than the threat. And that looming threat card that, Tony, you mentioned earlier would add to this if it happened to be there when an invasion occurred. And if you can meet it or exceed it with your defense, nothing happens. You just sit back and watch everybody else. Because for those that can't, they're going to be losing stuff. And it could be losing cards. It could be losing materials or gold. And each one of those has some sort of inherent value of a defense value that you're adding to make sure that eventually you spend enough resources to get your defense up to what that attack value is. And the invasions are brutal. And we sweated every time we flipped the cards over.
Right. Because even though we had, when someone attacks you, you don't lose your standing army. But during an invasion, you do. You can use their shield values plus their military strength, plus if you were in defense stance to help that, but then you lose your guys and they go out there and now they're back in the queue. They're back in the second row of the queue. So they'll have to come back and hopefully nothing bad's going to happen in the following year. It's going to take 2 years for them to rebuild. So you sit there and you say, am I better off losing a gem? Am I better off exhausting population? Population is key because it helps me build more stuff. And by the way, if I've worked my peasants too much, they add to my freaking threat. Yep. Come on.
Yeah, every peasant that's exhausted adds 1 to your threat.
Now you can always feed them and unexhaust them back ways. Mm-hmm. So you have to take all that into account. So, if you've had a couple good years, an invasion's coming.
Yeah. And what's cool is, Tony, there are abilities or ways out there that somebody can peek at that card. There are texts and stuff that allow you to peek at upcoming event cards and plan accordingly. What's cool is every faction is unique. Every faction has a special ability. Mark played a faction that actually helped at the very beginning of the game, allowed him to peek at the 2 of the events. So he knew 2 of the 9 that were out there. So I also like the asymmetric play of the game too. Everybody's a little bit different. So every time you play, you can play a different faction and it's going to feel a little different for you. And every faction starts out with a certain quest that kind of puts you on a path. I like this too. It's like, okay, if you complete this quest card by turn 6, we're going to reward you. So it kind of gives you something to shoot for. And typically it's going to be, you need to have upgraded this province and gotten this particular tech. And if you have, you get some bonuses at year 6 or turn 6.
One of the things with these individual asymmetric factions is you have your leaders as you're advancing them. You also have advisors and all this. So you've got multiple combinations that may help drive what you want to do. I know my people were all about agriculture. I was driving my peasants hard to get them to do stuff to allow me to advance quicker, but it was going to cost me because I was making them very unhappy when I did that, the threat. So that was very thematic from that standpoint. Hey, you're making us work hard in the field. We're not happy with you. So if there's ever a invasion, we may rise up against you. So be careful.
Yeah. And then the last thing is end harvest. This is your income phase, basically. You're going to look through all the tops of your province cards. You're going to collect resources depending on whatever level they're on. If you did a worker stance, wherever your worker is going to give you a little bit of extra bonuses. Go to the next year and you're going to play through 9 rounds. And after this game is over, you're going to count up your victory points based on resources you have left over. Maybe some tech that you've learned. The level 3 technologies give you victory points. How far have you progressed your provinces? They give you victory points, and the person with those victory points wins.
There you go. Gilded Age.
Gilded Realms.
Yeah.
Beyond the Gilded Cage. Here's the thing. I like everything about this game works. I love how the Endeavor cards works, and they automatically move down a queue, and you decide what realms you want to try to upgrade. And those different realms give you different things. And those different realms give you access to certain technologies depending on what their level is. I like the idea of the military being attacked from the board. I like everything about it. But Tony, the thing was, and I appreciate there's no downtime in this game, but in a game like this, I don't want to feel like it's a solitary game. And it felt that way.
Mm-hmm. It was. It was definitely solitaire, especially since we weren't attacking. And I know why we weren't attacking, because we felt that threat. Yes. We didn't want to waste our armies. We didn't want to do it.
On potential invasions, which are costly resources that you got to spend in order to overcome that threat. Or lots of times I would look around and see what cards were in people's hinterlands, and I just didn't want any of them. I didn't need any of them. What I had is what I wanted. I didn't see the need. And even if somebody sent out a caravan, it's like, well, maybe I go for some of those resources and stuff like that. But even then, it's like, I've kind of got a way to generate the resources I want, sort of deal. I would rather attack a looming threat or be prepped for an invasion that's coming.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I tried the caravan, and I when I rolled the dice, I got some decent gold. But did it really help me? Well, no, because I didn't have enough of the right technology cards out there to advance my realm. And what was interesting is we all got these quest cards at the beginning, and we wanted to meet at these quests. And it was like, that's what we were striving for, you know, it gave us guidance. But then again, I began to wonder, did I really do myself justice in trying to do this? You know,
it was worth some good stuff though at the end though.
I know. And then I was thinking, okay, I was having a hard time being able to upgrade the realms that would allow me to advance my advisors or my leaders. And I think I call it the castle one. But I was like, okay, where are they? That's when I should have gone out and attacked y'all if y'all had any in your hinterlands. Oh, guess what? You didn't have any in your hinterlands.
No, because the military was so strong. It's like, I got to get these guys built. But it was also, I was doing that too out of threat of being attacked. And I think everybody was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm fortified against attacks, not only from invasions, from other players. And so, Tony, if I'm sitting there looking and you got 4 military guys in your fortification ready to defend, why would I go against that? Then it comes down to a luck of some dice rolls, and I just didn't want to risk that.
Right, exactly. So, fun game. I will say that. It was fun, but it was solo.
Yep.
Enjoyed the tech tree.
Yep.
However, I think if I were to take out, would I change it? It's my game. I could change it however I want. Do I take out the invasions to get the more interaction?
But I like the threat of the invasions.
Yeah.
That was the most intense part of flipping over that event, thinking is an invasion incoming. So I appreciate that part. Appreciate that part of the game. Like you said, you have to do this simultaneously. It would take forever. It took 4 players, 2 hours, which wasn't insane for a lot that's going on. And you're constantly doing something. There is no downtime, none, because the resolution of those event cards and stuff happens so fast. 80 to 85% of the game is the stuff you're doing simultaneously.
Exactly. So I think from a standpoint, if people are going to look into this or, say, is this something for my gaming group? It's a good nut to crack to figure out how to get the most efficient production out and get those cards and take the risk. Take the risk for the threat. As we're playing it, we're cautious players. We're not those that are out there and say, oh, what could happen? Well, maybe I should have had my population working to the bone to help drive things up. Or maybe I should have gotten more materials to quickly expedite my buildings and then in later years work at recovering all of that, right? But yeah, I'm sorry, that threat of the card showing up in a later year, plus if I had all my population spent, everything I worked for, all that gold I've accumulated is now gone. And in the caravan, that adds threat. Certain things will add threat to you. So yeah, interesting game. I appreciate them sending it to us. I appreciate that we got the chance to play it.
It's their first game.
Experience it.
It's their first game, and it's good enough to where whatever they follow this up with, I'm interested in. I love the theme. Love the theme, and I haven't played a good kingdom building game in quite a while, and it's nice to play something where you're actually playing as people and not anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah.
I'm excited other stuff they have. In fact, they have a game they're just now teasing right now at their website, sandtimes-games.com, called Art of Thievery, which is a dungeon crawler in development right now. So I know there's some other dungeon crawlers out there, so maybe we'll see how it compares to what exists, but that's their next thing coming up. And so we'll see what Sandtime has coming up. But there you go. If you want more information, sandtimes-games.com for the Gilded Realms.
Brand new year. It's time to get more games on. Get to refresh those shelves. Everybody does a clean out of old stuff. Everybody puts away, a lot of organization going on. Maybe some of your organization, including making more space. Maybe you redesign your shelves. Either way, head over to miniaturemarket.com for their daily sales and their current hot games. We'll decide what you possibly are missing, what you may want again that you need to pick back up because, hey, in 2025, somebody borrowed it from you. You didn't get it back. Now you can't remember who borrowed it. So you need to order it again. Who knows? So head over to miniaturemarket.com.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
So we got to play a re-implement of Fantasy Realms called Fantasy Realms Greek Legends, designed by Bruce Glasgow, brought to us by publisher WizKids. Now, if you've played Fantasy Realms and you liked it, then you should try Fantasy Realms Greek Legends. In the gameplay of this, you're going to start by every player's going to get 7 cards. And during each player's turn, you will have your choice of drawing the top card from the deck or taking from the discard pile. The player who goes first must draw a card from the top of the deck, obviously. And at the end of each turn, a player must discard a card to the discard area. Now, once the discard area gets up to 10 cards, that's it. Game over. This is a very quick game to play. It's a great filler game. I really enjoyed playing it with the Greek Legends because it's a hidden, really strong, thinky game. To me, it was, because you're trying to collect sets that will allow you to score a lot of victory points. But one of the neat things I liked about the Greek legend was there were certain villains that are going to create negative points for you. And there's a new thing called the
Afterlife.
The afterlife. That's right. I was thinking Hades, the river Styx, going to the afterlife. And if you have heroes or gods into the afterlife, they're going to be negative points at the end. And certain cards are going to cause these effects to happen. Now, there's quests, there's treasures. All this is going on. You're waiting for someone to discard that special card you need. Marty never would do that for me. I needed one, and I was going to get a big quest. At the end of the 10th card, guess what? Highest victory points wins. Mm-hmm. That's it. I enjoyed playing this. I'll be honest with you. I really like this.
Yeah. So the thing about Fantasy Realms is there's a lot to track. I don't know that I would teach this to my family because all the cards have the special rules that tell you this card is going to score this if you have this sort of deal. Or if you have this could be negative points. You talk about the afterlife, Tony. There were some cards, it's like, hey, you actually get points for cards in the afterlife. And then you start trying to math, well, if I can more than break even and come out ahead based on cards in the afterlife with this card, so you're doing all this math on your head, trying to figure out what's the best thing to collect. Should I collect that or collect that? And then should I discard or discard this or discard that? So I don't know that I would teach my family. Even though it's very simple, draw a card, discard a card, it's the decisions you have to make of which 7 cards you're going to keep for the best score.
I agree. And that's why I think it's like one of those, it notches up for a gamer's game because of that. And also, I think it's a lot more strategic and trying to hurt other players as well, believe it or not. I mean, just being able to say, okay, is there anything that I can put out there that maybe Marty wants because of what he's taken sooner or earlier in the round? That I may tempt him and entice him to do this and then deny him. Like that quest I needed just one freaking card. And by not getting that card, I was hurt because I had to have certain things in the afterlife. And as I said, those were negative points. So it's one of those, because the cards say discard, I think the villains is at the end of the round, discard all heroes to the afterlife. There was one villain. I forget which one. Now I'm adding negative 10 points there. Is that really the good gameplay?
But then there's Cerebus, who is a villain monster that actually gives you +5 for every hero in the afterlife. So then it's like, oh, okay, well then maybe it makes sense to start doing it. But the card is itself, it's a penalty -5 if it itself is not in the afterlife. So because you have the choice, you can discard to the stuff to the afterlife, if you want. So the afterlife does add a whole new twist to this game. Another thing I appreciate in this card game is not only do you have the iconography on the card, you have beneath it in text telling you exactly how that iconography reads. We never had to reference a rule book or anything. It's all in the card. You may prefer the iconography or the words. Either way, you're going to understand the card, especially if you're a seasoned gamer.
As far as, artwork is subjective. This is very cartoony, but I liked it. It reminded me of a game I used to play on the PlayStation that looked similar, and I just drew a blank on it where I was a little hero going out. I need to fire that bad boy back up and see if I can still remember how to play it. That was such a cute little game. It was a hero type game. I liked it. So anyway, Fantasy Realms, Greek Legends. I really enjoyed it. I did.
Yep. Would I keep this over the base game? There is enough of a twist. I think the Afterlife is enough of a twist where, hey, I really like Fantasy Realms, but should I get another one? The After Realms does add a little something to it that you might want to try this one too.
Yeah, and I don't have Fantasy Realms. I don't know if you can still get it. So I don't remember playing Fantasy Realms.
You did.
But I like the Greek. I did? Are you
remember
sure?
Yeah, because we went through this and you said you didn't, but we checked and you did.
I did. Oh, that's right. Bert said, oh, yeah, I logged a play on BGG on, let's see, when was that? Let's see what that was. Anyway, I played it, but I like this one. That's Fantasy Realms, Greek Legends from WizKids.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Good morning, Crust. It's a great day to be a bread brother.
Ugh, mornings are not my jam. Or jelly.
Oh, come on. Stop loafing around.
I just woke up feeling hollow inside.
Psst, just grab one of the new Morning Uncrustables sandwiches, like Bright-Eyed Berry or Up and Apple, filled with 12 grams of protein and tons of deliciousness. Crust, what are you eating?
It's just granola, not even yogurt.
No crust, no fuss. Uncrust your mornings.
All right, Tony, I finally finished Metroid Prime 4.
Good for you.
If I'm giving it a score of out of 10, I've got to give it a 7, as it's just slightly above average. And I hate that, because for a game I waited 8 years on, the wait and the hype I had for it did not match the level of excitement I got out of it. And it was funny, the more I played the game, the less I liked it. The Metroid Prime stuff that's in there, I think is done really well. When you're in the different areas and you're fighting monsters and you're having to do the backtracking, I think it's really good. There's a new thing called a psychic visor, which is new and really cool. The problem is they introduced an open world thing. And if you've ever seen a trailer for it, there's a part where Samus is riding a motorcycle. That's the big open world where you got to get on the motorcycle and traverse to different areas of the world. And sometimes you'll get attacked along the way, and it just becomes a big pain in the butt. Typically in Metroid Prime games, there's a hub area. You just go back to it, and then you can go to one of the other spots. Here, you got to spend minutes traveling across potentially to another spot, especially when the backtracking kicks in. But the most annoying thing is there is a fetch quest, Tony. For some reason in Metroid Prime, there's a fetch quest where I'm just getting crystals. That's it. It's not driving the story anyway. It's just like, hey, you got to get a bunch of crystals before you can fight the final boss. So I'm just out on the bike riding around the desert, which I already don't enjoy, trying to collect enough crystals until somebody finally tells me, hey, great, you got enough. You can go on now. It's like, okay, this is getting worse. And then we get to the final boss. I enjoyed the fight with the final boss, but when credits rolled, even Vanessa, who was kind of keeping up what was going on, looked at me and she went, that's it? That's how the story ends? And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was just super disappointed in how the story ends. I can't even say why, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I would just say it's a 7 out of 10. My only hope is they have a chance to do Metroid Prime 5, because Retro Studios came out and said, by the way, we picked up this game from another company that started Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo wasn't happy with what they were doing with it, so we were brought in. However, Nintendo said, you need to kind of keep what's already in place because we need to get this game out. One of those things was the open world thing. So even they came out and said, yeah, the open world thing people aren't happy with. We had to leave it in there. So fingers crossed they get to do a 5 and do it the way that they want to do it.
Okay. Well, I hate that you didn't enjoy that, man. I mean, because you've been waiting for it for long. I never liked the Metroid, so I'm not disappointed at all that I didn't get to play it. So, and I mean, I'm looking at the show notes. So, I mean, I was over at, where was I? One of the little outdoor shopping malls near me. And I was like, wait, where's the GameStop that used to be here? When did it close down? And I'm guessing it closed down recently. But I don't know. I've lost track of which GameStops are still in business and what. So I guess they're all going out of business eventually. What's going on here?
Yeah. So a lot of GameStops were closing at the beginning of the year. And the GameStop that I probably visited for the past 20 years in a local mall near me with my boys, I have pictures of us standing at midnight releases for games and systems and us taking pictures in there and stuff. It's where I pre-ordered most of my games early on. Went to the mall the other day and had a big sign saying closing. And I walked in, they'd already taken a bunch of stuff down. I went, "Oh, y'all are hit by it." She said, "Yeah. There's another one in the town this is in. It's called Monroe. There's another one down the street that's going to stay open, but we were the one chosen to be shut down." And I said, "Well, I hate that because I just have so many memories here." And she said, I can't tell you the number of people that have come in and said all the memories of coming to this place. And I guess the one nice thing is, as I was getting ready to walk out, I looked down below the cash register, and they had a huge cardboard marquee poster of Metroid Prime 4. And I went, "What are you going to do with that poster?" She said, "You want it?" I went, "Yes, I do." So I got this huge 24-inch by 36-inch poster of Metroid Prime 4 that I'm going to get framed some way and then hang it on the wall. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of Metroid Prime 4, the art and everything is really cool. In fact, let me show you something. This is going to be really bad for podcasts, but from that GameStop, I got this.
Ooh, a big box of it.
A display from the first Metroid Prime for the GameCube.
Oh, cool.
So you see, it's actual a physical box, and it's huge. It's probably about 2 feet tall or so.
Yeah.
So I had this since it came out. I got it from that store, and I actually saw this at a show last year, and somebody was selling it for $300. So
wow.
Yeah, I will not be parting ways with this bad boy anytime soon. But yeah, it's one of those things that also I just walked in there and said, "Can I have that box?" She said, "Yeah, let me put your name on it. You come back and get it in a couple of weeks." And I came back and they still had it for me. So I've kept it since then and kept it in pretty good shape too.
Well, that's pretty cool that you got that. So where are you going to be able to buy your games from? I guess online in the e-stores, huh?
Online. Sad thing is though, lots of times GameStop had, the reason why I'd pre-order from GameStop is for the bonus stuff. Hey, if you pre-order from us, we'd give you a keychain or this or that and stuff. They would get me with that sort of thing. I guess that kind of stuff's going away too. But, I guess physical is going away, which really stinks. But
okay. Well, dang it. I hate that. Well, just like GameStops. Well, no, they're not. We're not going away, but we are ending the show. So, okay. Keep rolling dice
and taking names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Make sure to follow us on social media. You can see all those social media links over on our website, rolldicetakenames.com. You can see us on X, Instagram, Facebook. But a lot of our stuff, interactions, and everything is done over our Discord channel. We would love for you to join. We have a lot of active conversations over there. And make sure to come back next episode, or please come back next. Just listen to us, please.
Walked in Qdoba's and Marty's waiting on us, and he's reading a book. What were you reading, man?
Fellowship of the Ring.
You know what? I picked up a book as well to start reading. It's all about anti-gravity, and it is so hard to put down.
Dang it, I laughed.